everyone, today I'd like to talk to you about how I have grown my wholesale business. So I'll go through the steps and tips and tricks as I cut some soap today, so come along with me. Hi guys, I thought we could talk about our wholesale today while I am cutting a lot of soap for a wholesale order. So I'm cutting about 100 bars and these are going to one. This one isn't a store, it's one of my subscription boxes. So if you are familiar with the Mama Bird box, it's for expecting mothers, and the women who run that are sisters and they are lovely. So they ordered a lot of Hello Beautiful soap, and then I also have to make these mini Best Day creams, and I'll be doing those tomorrow. So anyway, I thought it might be fitting to just talk to you about wholesaling soap and some tips regarding what I do in my wholesale business or in my efforts to grow my wholesale business, and share them here with you while I'm talking. So I have some notes next to me, so hopefully I won't get too off track. And we may get a visit here from my son in a minute because he's coming in from soccer camp, so I may have to pause. Okay, so I'm cutting the ends here because I do soap ends now in a box. I just had some professional pictures taken. I have them done quarterly and they are working out really well for me. Okay, so anyway, back to wholesaling. The first thing is to prep before you ever contact shops. And by prep, I mean get your wholesale business ready. So I'm going to give you some details about exactly what I'm referring to there. The first thing is to have your product line streamlined. So every product you make does not have to be what you will be offering for wholesale. In fact, it really shouldn't be. You should have a very straightforward product line that you wholesale. So if you sell soaps like I do, I offer like 11 or 12 soaps throughout the year. I don't offer them all at the same time. Some of them are seasonal, some I'll tuck away for a little bit and bring them back the following year because I always want to add new soaps. So I don't always offer all of these soaps in my wholesale catalog. I would choose like 7 soaps that go with 7 creams that match 7 perfumes. So that way it's easy for them to figure out what they like. I can suggest that they start with 4 of those scents. And that takes the overwhelm out of the process. Let's see here. That's going to be a big soap end for someone. Might be a sample that I use. So anyway, it takes the overwhelm out. That way they can just go with the first 4. This way you have a variety of scents, a variety of colors, and it's kind of something for every one of their buyers to choose from. Another thing you can do then is select maybe a starting bonus for first-time orders. So say you have those 7 soaps, creams, and perfumes that you offer. Maybe you put together a set of 3 of each of those, and you make that a first-time order special, and you discount that. Even though it's wholesale already discounted, maybe you take an extra 10% off, or maybe you offer free shipping for that first order, something like that. Some kind of incentive to get them to buy, because once they become your customer, then it's time to make them a loyal customer, which is going to be another video. I'm not going to have time to really talk about all of these things today, but I will go back and cover that if you're interested in how I keep my wholesale customers. I will mention one of those things that I do today. So once you have your product line and you have your incentive lined up, you want to have really good photos of those products. So I have like I mentioned a minute ago, I have a professional photographer who takes quarterly photos for me that I can use for my website, for my catalog, for marketing purposes, anything I want to do online. The ones that I use in my catalog are white background, just as plain as I can get them. So I keep saying catalog. What do I mean by that? The next thing is, once you have all of that streamlined, you're going to be making a catalog that has pictures of your soaps, your creams, your perfumes, or whatever it is you sell. If you sell something like jewelry, then maybe you are just you have pictures of your jewelry and you don't have different varieties because maybe they are one of a kind, okay? So, but that's another conversation too. I'm actually leaving my Etsy link here in the description so that if you have some specific questions that relate to your business, I have a lot of ideas for things, but I can't address them all here. So if you wanted to talk about something specific, you can go to the link down there and we can chat via Facebook video or phone or whatever. Okay, so anyway, you have to make a catalog, and to do that you need your product line streamlined, you need your photos, and you also need to have things like good descriptions. You might want to include a shop story in there. I'm going to show some images of what I include in my line sheet / catalog. I have this printed for in-person visits, and I also have a digital file because most of the time I'm sending it out via email. But I like to have actual tangible copies that I can hold for things like events where stores find me. For example, at my Clover event, I had 2 stores approach me that will be carrying my products now. So I was able to hand them a catalog, and now I have orders in place. So we'll talk about how you can actually get the stores in a minute, but we're still getting ready for it. So you have your photos, you have your descriptions, you have your shop story ready, you have an idea and a really good photo for your title page of your catalog, and then you have what's called a line sheet. So for me, my line sheet is kind of within my, it's kind of a combo with my catalog. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Sometimes the line sheet is just one page with the pictures and the vital information that you need to have. So other times you can have things like your shop story included with like a title page and an order form attached, and that's what I have. And I found that works best for me. So you need to have wholesale pricing. So before you ever put this catalog together, you need to make sure you are priced for wholesale. So to be priced for wholesale, it means that you are making enough money at a wholesale price to be able to afford to do this. So that means starting with pricing in general, you need to be able to price your products so that you are getting a profit, and you should be pricing them first at wholesale, and then just a simple formula is to double that for what your retail cost would be. So things you need to consider in your pricing: it is not just the cost of your materials, it is other things. It is kind of, I have things like utility bills. So I don't rent a studio space, it's within my house, but I still have to pay for things like internet, my cell phone bill, of course the materials that I have tools that I need to buy, I have to update equipment. There are other things that I need to factor in, and I also want to consider my own time because I pay myself. So what is it that I would want to be paid per hour? If you have employees, you want to think about that, but I like to think about pricing all of these things from the beginning, because if you grow, you are going to have all of these expenses, including at some point maybe rent, and that is your wholesale cost, because you want to have an actual profit too. So that's your wholesale, double that, and that's your retail. So your retail also needs to consider what the market will bear. So you want to make sure you're not pricing so high that it's not something that people would actually want to buy, but you are being reasonable in your pricing, and it's competitive with your competition. And you can take that and you can say, okay, half of that is my wholesale cost. I'm still making money at my wholesale cost, so if I sell at retail, great, that's even better. I'm making a better profit margin at that point. So you have your pricing, you have your photos, you have your description, you have all of these things in place. Now you need your terms. Your terms are things like your turnaround time. What is the minimum order? Because you are selling at a discount, and it's a big discount, it's 50% of retail, and that's what shops expect. Then you also need to be able to get bigger orders because of that. So what that means is you should say, for me, I'll usually do like a $200 minimum order for wholesale and maybe $175 for follow-up orders. So you have your pricing in place, you have your pictures, you have your descriptions, you have your terms. Your terms include the minimum order, your turnaround time, how fast will this ship out, and it should ship out quickly enough. So you want to have that streamlined product line in place, because that way you can plan on keeping those items in stock all the time as best you can, so that you're not waiting weeks to ship things out. Stores don't want to wait that long, and things like soap need to cure, so I do things like make really big batches, and that way I always have my soap. You've got your pricing, you've got your terms, you've got your pictures, you've got your descriptions. Now you need to get that catalog put together. You can find templates online. There are free, there are some you can buy. Go on Etsy and put line sheet templates. You can buy some and just plug in your information. I would suggest doing that to get started. It's a lot easier. I did make my own. I used canva.com. You can also use something like that. So then you need to find stores. So to find stores, you can either use a program like Wholesale in a Box that you can buy, or you can look online and find some stores of your own. Once you find the stores, you can do something like put the information in a spreadsheet. So say you have 20 stores you want to contact, put those stores in a spreadsheet, then you want to just mark it off. Have I contacted them? And have I followed up 1 week later? So that's what I do, is I just kind of keep my stores all in a spreadsheet, and I contact them via email or phone to make an appointment to see if they are local, if I could bring in some samples for them. And I'll follow up 1 week later. Other things that I do, that's what people will tell you the most, is to just contact via email. But I find that if I just cold email, and I know how to write a nice letter, you want to write a nice articulate letter that talks about your brand and why your brand is good for their customer. Don't make it too long, keep it short, offer samples, see attached line sheet, and I would love to talk to you. If it's local, you could request an appointment. So you want to keep practicing that email to make sure your sales pitch is right on as well. Again, I'll refer you to the Etsy sheet for that if you'd like to go over that with me. So follow up in a week. Another thing I do is sometimes I will send out a mini catalog, and I have these kind of branded envelopes that I use, and this is kind of like a cold shot instead of an email. Sometimes I like something physically in front of them. So I'll send out a branded mini catalog that fits in this sample envelope with 2 samples, and I'll also include a branded card that has my picture, my story, information about the products, and then 2 samples. I send that out, I follow up a week later. I just sent 10 of those out today. They go out first class in these envelopes, they look nice, and then I'll follow up. So if I am actually in the area, a second thing I might do is stop in because I'm shopping, and I'll look around and I'll say, oh, I have a line of soaps that would work really well in this store. I don't want to bother you while you are here working with customers, but is it possible to send you an email or get your card? So a lot of times I'll do that because then I can reference actually having met them in person, and that has been really successful for me too, but I'm not asking to pitch my product while I'm in the store. That would annoy the store owner. You don't want to do that. So those are the main tips that I have for sending things out. I also have some information, a lot of information on what I do to keep my customers. So I just sent out an email to all of my wholesale customers, and about 90% of them placed an order, and it's summer, it's usually slow. So while my online Etsy business might be a little slower right now, and that's a whole other conversation, but it has slowed down in the last week, and I have no idea what's going on, but it didn't matter to me because I'm busy with wholesale. I got so many orders that it was much greater than what I would have made on Etsy, even in like Christmas season. Okay, so that's it for today, and again, please check that Etsy link down below if you would like to talk about this a little more. I'm happy to talk to you online or on the phone, and we could set something up to go over that. I would also appreciate any comments if you'd like to hear a little bit more about how I keep in touch with my wholesale customers once I have them, to make sure I'm serving them and continuing to get orders in. That's it. Have a great day.